Could Canada help replace Russian raw materials and even some of its energy deliveries to Germany?
With the West shunning Russian energy, LNG suppliers worldwide scramble to make up the shortfall. One of those countries is Qatar, which has been making long-term supply deals with European and Asian partners and recently announced that it expects to sign more contracts.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 10% tariff on Canadian energy.
The year 2025 has witnessed a fundamental reshaping of global energy dynamics, with Canada and Qatar redirecting significant natural gas exports from the United States to European markets. This strategic pivot had far-reaching economic consequences and began to undermine long-standing U.S. influence in the international energy sector. As Europe urgently seeks alternatives to Russian energy supplies, these two nations have emerged as critical players in the new energy landscape. The transformation began when President Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Canadian natural gas imports as part of his 2025 trade policy package. Rather than cave in to U.S. pressure, Canada made a dramatic change in direction. The significance of this shift lies in its comprehensive infrastructure overhaul. Canada is reconfiguring its entire energy network, from pipelines to port facilities, away from U.S. connections. The infrastructure that once symbolized North American integration now represents Canadian independence. Ironically, Trump's tariffs, designed to bolster American energy dominance, have instead fractured the very alliance that underpinned it. While Canada was recalibrating its energy relationships, Qatar was aggressively expanding its presence in the global LNG market. The Gulf state is rapidly increasing its production capacity, which is expected to nearly double from 77 million tons in 2024 to 142 million tons in 2030. A development that represents not just growth, but a strategic market takeover. As Europe seeks to reduce its dependence on Russian gas, it has found a reliable and competitive supplier in Qatar. Germany and other European nations have secured long-term supply contracts, relying on Qatar's consistency and competitive pricing to stabilize their domestic markets and industrial sectors. Qatar's prominence in European LNG markets goes beyond commercial success. It represents a geopolitical power shift. By becoming a major energy supplier to the continent, Qatar is redefining its position in global diplomacy and international relations. Before we dive in, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps us connect with more energy fans like you. Now that Qatar is replenishing Europe's reserves, let's turn to the US, where things are starting to stall, and the warning signs are starting to flash. As Canada and Qatar advance their strategic interests, the US is left in the lurch. The loss of Canadian natural gas imports, previously a fundamental element of U.S. energy supply, has limited domestic availability at a time when demand is rising. This supply constraint is manifesting itself in rising fuel prices, which have approached $5 a gallon, exacerbating inflation concerns and straining household finances. Washington has tried to counter these developments by boosting LNG exports to Europe, but implementation has proven difficult. Shipping lanes are congested, export terminals are operating at maximum capacity, and European buyers already have arrangements with suppliers such as Qatar that offer cheaper and more reliable supply chains. As the United States struggles to reposition itself in the changing energy landscape, its global competitors are moving quickly to advance their own interests.
It's an investment by Canada's largest container terminal that it expects will help the country's economy move a little faster. Global Container Terminals is replacing two of its ship-to-shore cranes in Delta, BC to handle the largest vessels making shipments around the world.
Europe's approach to energy security has changed dramatically in 2025. When Russian gas supplies through Ukraine were cut off earlier this year, the continent was forced to quickly secure alternative sources. Canada and Qatar stepped in to meet this need, supporting Europe's quest for long-term stability through multi-decade LNG deals that now form the basis of Europe's energy security strategy. Some EU member states are in favor of temporarily maintaining limited Russian gas imports to prevent price spikes, while others are pushing for a complete cutoff of Russian supplies by 2027. This internal disagreement highlights a fundamental challenge. Effective energy policy requires coordination and consensus. Europe's future success will depend on its ability to harmonize its approach and develop partnerships that balance economic interests with environmental responsibility. Meanwhile, Canada and Qatar are already building the infrastructure needed to support this new energy paradigm.
Really like Canada to export more LNG to Europe, yes. In a very, very short time, we build pipelines to the northern shore. We will build ports at many places for importing natural gas, liquid natural gas, LNG.
The realignment led by Canada and Qatar goes beyond supply chain adjustments. It represents the blueprint for a new global energy order. No longer subordinate partners in U.S. energy dominance, these nations are taking the lead, using LNG contracts as leverage to reshape international energy governance. Both countries are securing decades-long international agreements that position them as central hubs in the future global fuel network. In Canada, regions such as British Columbia and Newfoundland are experiencing rapid development. LNG terminals, shipping facilities, and new energy corridors are creating jobs, attracting billions in investment, and raising Canada's profile as a global energy leader. Canada's strategy extends beyond fuel exports to energy diplomacy, strengthening ties with France and the United Kingdom through shared energy goals. Qatar's ambitions are even broader. Its LNG exports serve not only as a source of energy, but also as a vehicle for expanding influence. From Italy to Germany to Japan, Qatar is combining energy supply with investments in ports, logistics, infrastructure, and global trade networks. This approach represents the convergence of energy policy and grand strategy. Together, these two nations are creating a new framework in the global marketplace that bypasses American influence. As they develop this transatlantic and trans-Pacific energy network, the United States risks being marginalized in the new order. What's your take on these dramatic shifts? Do you think Canada and Qatar have made the right strategic move in redirecting their exports away from the U.S.? Will Europe's new energy partnerships create greater security or introduce new vulnerabilities? And can the United States regain its influence in the global energy arena, or has this realignment permanently altered the balance of power? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. We're eager to hear your perspective on these critical developments. If you enjoyed this analysis of energy markets and geopolitical economic shifts, please hit the like button and subscribe to Globelines for regular insights into the global trade patterns, energy transitions, and economic transformation shaping our world. Don't forget to check out the videos on your screen. There's so much more to learn about the intricate relationships between energy security, international diplomacy, and economic strategy in our rapidly evolving global landscape. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next analysis.